Hi, everyone. I'm Carlyn Way from Carlyn Ray Energy Balancing. I'm an energy and sound healer, a space clearer, and a clutter coach. And I'm really excited to be here today and interview my friend Catherine Avery. She is an ADHD focus coach. We've known each other since, gosh, I don't know, maybe 2013 or something like that. It's been a while. We took some space clearing classes together, and so we're also into the energy of homes as well. But I really wanted to talk to Catherine today because I know a lot of my clients and people that I work with who are struggling with clutter have ADHD. Catherine works with adults on focus, productivity, mainly their jobs, but also things around their home. So welcome, Catherine. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Can you tell people a little bit about your background, how you got into this, what kinds of things you offer for your clients?
Sure. If you go way, way, way back to the beginning of time, I was in the world of Wall Street in corporate America. And then when I got married, I made a transition in my career to become an interior designer. And so this business has evolved out of interior design. And I was a corporate or commercial interior designer and specifically working on corporate offices and helping them get organized, et cetera. In 2015, I got a breast cancer diagnosis. And after that, well, sort of during that, I was dealing with pretty bad chemo brain. And the chemo brain just wouldn't leave. And it dawned on me there was something more going on. And so I started on this journey of trying to figure out what were my learning challenges or whatnot. At the same time, my daughter was in sixth or seventh grade and entered into like an extra learning program for kids who are having executive function challenges. And executive function, let me just say what it is before I throw out big words, is um, located in the front prefrontal cortex of your brain is where your executive function stuff happens. So, if you go from the back, lizard brain, amygdala, sort of more in the center. And this is the last part of the brain that was ever developed in human beings. And it's really what helps us get things done. That
Mhm.
is a very basic
Yeah,
description of
yeah.
executive function. It helps us get started, emotionally regulate, and get things done. So, uh, I realized I was having challenges with my executive function like that, where, momentarily I derailed on what the heck I was talking about.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hello, ADHD. And so I went on this journey to find out if I had ADHD. Concurrently, I went into a coaching program because when I got through all of the chemo type stuff, I realized my energy wasn't the same. I no longer really wanted to be fighting with contractors. I didn't want to be lugging heavy samples, hanging art on the wall, etc. And what could I do for a business that would be more intellectual property, I guess you would
Mhm.
say,
Mhm.
coaching, consulting. And I started by becoming a certified productive environment specialist, which is specifically someone who is trained in how to set up your office space to be productive,
Mhm.
and loved it. But I found I was kind of sort of on the fringes of coaching
Mhm.
and realized in my mind that a great coach gets training so that they can be a great coach. So
Right.
I joined Coach Approach training in June of 2020. You might recognize that timing as being just around the time of the pandemic when
Mhm.
many of us were shifting our businesses. And I realized that my 3-year plan to be a laptop business was going to happen in 3 months, which it
Wow.
did. So I was consulting and started coaching right away. That's the way the Coach Approach training program works, which is great. And I loved that. And I became a certified neurodiversity coach in 2022.
Mhm.
And now I'm coaching,
Yeah.
but I will say my work also encompasses helping people get their offices organized. There's definitely consulting aspects still. And some of that is because as ADHDers, we really want someone to hand us a system.
Right. Right.
Please tell me your structure, tell me your
Right.
system, give me all your secrets, please. So I never look at it as I only coach. And it's interesting because just today I was approached by someone saying their ADHD coach never offers them any structures or system. And I'm just
Oh,
thinking,
wow.
how do they not? This
Mhm.
is, and coaching is led by the client, right? So the
Right.
client determines what they need. But if a client of mine says, my email inbox is a big jumbled mess and I need some help, I'm going to help them set up a structure and a system for it, right?
Right. Right.
Because
Yeah.
that's hard for an ADHD, or we struggle to figure out what's the right first step and then to initiate the dang right first step.
Hmm.
And that's just the beginning of the whole puzzle, right?
Right.
We then
Right.
have other executive function challenges all along the way. All right, that's enough about
Right.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. I do want you to talk a little bit about something about ADHD that I think people don't know. And I've seen this a lot in your social media posts where you say, um, it's not about being not able to focus, right? ADHD
It's
is
not about being
not being able to focus.
so
Yeah.
yes, okay, got it.
Yeah. Sorry,
So
my mouth.
no, you're great. You're
Jumbling
great.
words.
And I think I need, honestly, I'm going to take a moment here and turn up my volume because I had it turned down. Apologies, everybody. And
That's
if you
fine.
need to edit this, feel
We're good.
free. Okay, much better.
We're good.
So, uh, ADHD and focus. There's this myth that we don't know how to focus, that we're always distracted, that we're after bright, shiny object, that we've got squirrel brains and we go all over the place, like my hands are doing right now.
Mhm.
Just how ADHDers who are either combined type or have that, I just lost the word, not impulsivity, although that's one of the words, uh, the energy one,
Right.
ADHD, hyperactivity.
Right.
Sorry, had to,
Right.
I need a word to get to it. And by the way, nothing wrong with that. If you have ADHD, like feel free to just grab the thing that helps trigger you to remember something. It's okay because we do struggle to remember things. So if you have a hyperactivity of element in your ADHD, you might be doing this kind of thing. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna move my hands. Anyway, the now I'm distracted. Squirrel. So if we are distracted and we can take our own thoughts and go off the tracks, right? You all just
Mhm.
saw this in action, a
Right.
typical ADHD thing. Then we look completely unfocused.
Mhm.
But when we are in what they call hyper focus, or also what I'm never going to get this right, but I think it's Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi says is that it's called flow. And when we're in flow, we're in the zone, we're doing
Right.
that thing that we're a genius at, that we love to do. We are so focused, it's unbelievable. And
Mhm.
where you might see this, and I am going to use a child example here, is your teen playing Minecraft and you can't get them to stop because
Mhm.
they are totally actively engrossed in the game and they are focused in on that.
Mhm.
Now, on the flip side for teens, and yes, mine was the Minecraft example, she got super hyper focused into everything about criminology and criminal minds and is now on that track studying at college. So
Mhm.
that focus isn't a bad thing.
Right.
And the other piece to Minecraft is she was building things. So I kept looking at thinking, is she going to be like an architect? Because she was building these worlds. So
Mhm.
I know I'm talking about kids right now, but I just want to do that real fast. Don't get all freaked out if your kid is doing a lot of gaming
Mhm.
because they are learning other things in the
Mhm.
world from that gaming experience. All right, enough about kids,
Right.
adults. So our distraction will come up the way you just saw.
Mhm.
Sometimes it'll be that we're speaking too quickly and our brain, actually, our brain is going so fast, our
Right.
mouth is trying to keep up,
Right.
which is why we'll sometimes blurt out things and are the wrong things to say,
Mhm.
or we'll forget a word. Um, and that's really okay
Yeah.
to have all that going on.
Right. Right.
Did I answer the question?
Yes. Yes, you did. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some systems and structures that'll be helpful for people with ADHD, organizing their life, maybe even particularly related to decluttering. I know
Yes.
that's like really struggle, like decluttering and also keeping their things organized once they do declutter.
So I'm going to not start with decluttering, but it's going to feed into decluttering. And when it
Sure.
doesn't, then just rein me back in.
Okay.
Don't hesitate. So, one of the best strategies you can have is to have a solid morning routine and a solid evening routine.
Mhm.
What does this mean? For me, I lay out my clothes the night before. All right, so let me I'm going to start with energy. You
Sure.
like energy.
Yes, yes.
So our energy, we have like pretend, you have a gas tank and you wake up in the morning and your gas tank is on full. Now, for some people, they're more like night owls and their gas tank might be full in a different time of the day, and that's okay. Get a sense of where your energy is best in the day, and you can do that by time tracking. So that's sort of tool number one. Is I have my clients time track for a minimum of 3 days so that they can see what points of the day they've got good energy or don't. For me, my energy is exceptionally high first thing in the morning. We are recording this at about 1:20 my time. After this, I'm going to crash and burn because I'm using up the last of my energy tank and reserves. So what did I do today to make sure that I had plenty of energy left in the tank? I laid out my clothes last night. I took a morning walk. Walking for me gets me really super focused because the I'm expending out the physical energy, which then allows my brain to hyper focus. It also is, has to do with dopamine and serotonin and boosting all those feel good chemicals that help ADHD brains. We're like always looking for the next dopamine hit. Sorry for a bad analogy, but it's true. So walking first thing in the morning really helps me. Normally I walk in the afternoon, but I knew today was going to be kind of a longer day and I was going to need a lot more brain power, a lot more fuel in the tank later in the day. So that's sort of the first thing. Evening routine include laying out your clothes for the next day. I know people who actually have more like a uniform and they have their closet divvied up. So this, see what I mean? It is going to get into organizing. They have their closets divvied up where it's maybe all clothes I'm going to wear if I'm giving a presentation and play clothes. I'm making that like loosely, weekend clothes, right? And then they don't have to make decisions around it. So they might get up in the morning and they've laid out their gym clothes. So they go to the gym and then they go into their closet to get dressed, but they know that today's a weekend day and I'm just going to go to the weekend side, or today's a presentation time, I'm going to go to the presentation side, or today's a normal work day and I'm going to wear my normal work clothes. And that's what they can do. I, for one, love clothing. So my closet is actually organized, not at all like that. It's organized by what type of item it is and color. So if you go into my closet, all the sleeveless blouses go from white, I'm going to have to go the backwards, white to black. All of my short sleeve blouses, white to black. All my long sleeve blouses, white to black. My slacks, jeans, work slacks. You get the idea. So it's all
my class because I tell my clients to do that.
Of course. Probably. So I definitely been hanging out with you long enough, Carlyn, and I'm sure I've picked up all your great, brilliant strategies. So the reason this is important for ADHD people is decision making is tough for us. It takes a lot of our energy. It drains our executive function. And you don't want to waste your executive function deciding what you're going to wear in the morning. So either if you're fancy pantsy like me and you want to have all your things and the many colors, lay that out all the night before. Because late in the evening, it doesn't matter that you're wasting your energy on that kind of decision. Because what are you doing right now? You're watching TV or reading a book, right? If you are making that decision first thing in the morning, you've now wasted part of that fuel tank. It's just dropped a little bit, right? The other thing you can do to set yourself up for success is get a freaking good night's sleep. And it's really important you have a calming down routine into sleep, whatever that looks like. Ideally, it looks like things that don't include technology in the bedroom. Sorry.
I agree. 100% agree.
No tech in the bedroom.
No TV in the bedroom. No.
Nope. And no phones, no iPads, no any of that. I actually keep my iPhone in the bathroom. I keep it in the bathroom because it's attached to our bedroom, but it's just far enough away that I'm not tempted by it. And it's also just close enough that we've got, people in our family who are getting more senior and we need access to a phone. So it's just close enough that we can get to it if need be. The beauty of it being in the bathroom another part of my routine, and it's the habit I'm building right now. I'm very proud of myself, is that I use the Calm app on my phone to do morning meditation.
Mm,
So I get up in the morning, I pair it with an existing habit. So when you're trying to build a new habit, pair with an existing habit. This is all around ADHD, by the way. This isn't just me chatting. This is like how I help my ADHD
right.
clients. If you pair it with an existing habit, it's easier to build a new habit. We want to take any system structures, anything we've got in place already, and riff off of it because it helps us. It's less energy out of that gas tank. So I brush my teeth, I get my phone, I go to my quiet place, I do my Calm meditation, which is just a Calm app. It's 10 minutes and it tracks it for me. I don't have to do any of the tracking. Yay! One more thing I don't have to do myself. And then I have gotten my meditation in. So I actually did meditate and then walk this morning. So I did both. That was evening and morning routine. You want to talk about organization. So I believe, and I know you believe, the things we have energy.
They do.
And it's really important to surround ourselves with positive energy. So if you got a pen from a boss you couldn't stand, get that pen the hell out of your office.
Right.
Get out of your office. Yeah, I'm blunt. But it's true.
Save this.
Unless he's still your boss and you kind of, then you got to like tuck it somewhere where you can't see it all the time where it doesn't aggravate you. So if you've gotten a vase from Aunt Tilly and you really have never loved the vase and Aunt Tilly has since passed on, you may now release that vase. Right. You can give it a little love and joy if you want. You can thank it for your wonderful Aunt Tilly. And then you can either give it to another person in the family who might want it or just let it go.
Right.
It's really important that we remove negative energy items out of our space.
Right.
Clutter has negative energy.
It's full of it. It's full of it.
Loaded with negative energy.
Yeah.
So when I'm working with people on their offices, the first place I say for them to focus is their desk. If you can get your desk clear, even if that means you're taking the piles off the desk and piling them somewhere else, get the desk clear because you kind of want that. I call it white space, and I always get a little nervous about actually saying white space, but clear space.
Right.
Clear space offers room for creativity. So two things here on this about creativity. One, if you clear stuff out of the way, you have room for creativity. Like you can bring it in. I feel like I'm thinking of Elizabeth Gilbert and the Big Magic, right?
Yeah.
Have you read that book?
Yes, I have. Yes,
okay. So you know what I'm talking about. Like she just gets, the ideas come in, and if we don't take advantage of them, they go off to somebody else.
Yeah.
So there's creativity, creative space. The second thing I wanted to say around creativity was systems and structure actually give you freedom for creativity.
They do.
Sorry.
They do. They
but
do.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true. So we're ADHDers. We're like, we want to be free. We must have space for our creativity. We must go with the flow and do what we feel like doing when we feel like doing it. And when we feel motivated and we're not motivated, we're not doing it. Yeah, no.
It's stressful.
That's really nice.
It's stressful if you just go with the flow and you have no organization or boundaries because you're constantly running around going, oh my God, where are my keys? I'm going to be late for work and all this kind of stuff, right? And it takes that stress away so you can enjoy
100%.
your life.
So, and this was a challenge for me because I love to like wake up in the morning and just do what I want to do. So here's a way to structure it that's kind of fun. And I'm using, again, a personal example, but we'll go into a business example. One of my clients works a job that is seasonal. And during the seasonal portion of her job, she can't do her full spiritual morning routine. And she was very frustrated by this because ADHD brains are very all or nothing. And if we can't do it all, we're going to do nothing.
Right.
And so together in our coaching, she came up with this idea that I just adore. She calls it her spiritual basket. And in this basket, she has all the things she might enjoy doing spiritually. It might be some tarot cards or what are the other kind of cards called? I forgot what they're
Oracle
called.
cards, Oracle cards.
Oracle cards. Sorry,
Yeah.
thank you. There's might be some oracle cards. There's a journal. Maybe there's a prayer book in there. There's all these, say, 5 or 6 different options of ways she could be spiritual today.
Right.
And what we came up with together was she might only have time for one thing, but she wants that freedom and flexibility for it to be super creative and interesting, right? We need new things. We thrive on new things. So in the morning, she wakes up and she knows that her structure is going to be the spiritual basket, like literally a physical structure, right?
Right.
And her structure is she's going to pick an item out of the spiritual basket. The flexibility is she can pick any item.
Yeah.
I want to journal today. I want to
Yeah.
say a prayer today, whatever, right?
Mhm.
So it gives her that freedom and flexibility within the container, that structure of having that spiritual basket. And what happened was she no longer was beating herself up saying, I don't have a spiritual morning routine. She just had one that was a lot smaller,
Right.
contained, structured, but still with that little bit of flexibility of getting to choose what that would be. And, it might be that it's a super busy morning. You really only have time to pull an oracle card and set an intention for the day. It might be you have a little more time and you want to journal a couple pages, right?
Mhm.
Business. Let's see a good example. Well, and it sounds kind of silly, but after you've cleared your desk, the next thing I would do is that drawer with all your office supplies.
Mhm.
Go through and look at your pens.
Yeah.
Literally, if you're really struggling to start anywhere with this decluttering journey and it's just too overwhelming and too much, pick one little tiny thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Separate the rubber bands from the paper clips.
Right.
Done. You won.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
something done. Give yourself
Right.
a gold star, right?
Right.
Take all the pens and go through them and check and see which ones are even working anymore.
Mhm.
And then throw out the ones that aren't. Don't put that dry pen back in that. Don't put the dry pen back in the thing. Hate
No.
when people do that. It might never happen in my house. Um, now you've gotten your pens decluttered and organized, and you could literally choose one of these little tiny tasks at your end of your workday when you're just shot and you don't want to do anything else in your office. You could do this to get on top of organizing and decluttering. I want to say one more thing while we're there, if it's okay
Right.
with you,
Yeah.
which is about your end of the day routine at the office. There's 3 things I do at the end of each day at my office. The first is I do a tidy up of my desk
Mhm.
because now I'm going to come in tomorrow morning and what I'm going to see on my desk is clear space and ability to work on things. This does not mean I am filing every day, and you don't have to file every day. I put my file folders in a spot and I file on Friday afternoon. Because
Mhm.
frankly, by Friday afternoon, I'm shot and my brain is useless and I'm not. So it's a great time to file, right?
Right. Right.
But at least if you can tidy them, put them in your inbox or set them in a bin, containerizing things is a great way to handle things. Um, and we're going to talk, do me a favor, hold the thought about the 2 different types of ways people are with their stuff.
Sure.
Hang tight. The 3 things we do in the day: a quick declutter of the space, just your immediate desk space. This is the time where you could do that pen thing if you wanted. You're just going to take 5 to 10 minutes. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to write down your wins for the day. What were you successful at? Now, if you're dieting, it could be my success today was I skipped the brownies that were handed out during lunch.
Mhm.
If you're in a work situation, your success could be as simple as I returned that phone call. I mean, some days for me, because follow up is my Achilles heel, and hello, ADHD. If I got 3 emails out for follow up today, yes, rock on. That's great. Make sure you write down a couple of your wins. This is going to help you start to realize, ADHD people, we think we're lazy. We think we're stupid. We think we're crazy. We think we're broken. Not all of us, not all the time. But this writing down your wins and your successes is going to start to help you realize, no, you're not.
Right.
And by the way, you're not.
No,
If you
it's
have ADHD,
really
you're
easy
not
to
lazy,
people to put
crazy, or broken.
themselves down. Yeah. Everybody
Right?
puts themselves down all the time. It's
Absolutely.
terrible.
So if we can start doing this, like a
Yeah.
very visual, and I mean, you can have a little journal, you could, I don't care where you write it.
Hmm.
Just the act of writing it is going to help it hold in your brain. The last thing you're going to do before you leave for the day is you're going to write down the 3 things you want to accomplish tomorrow.
Hmm.
And if you write these things down tonight, in the afternoon, that overnight, and it should not be keeping you awake at night, please the Lord. But some people
Yeah.
really struggle with having the brain going nonstop at night with the chatter. But technically, what should happen is you write those 3 things down, and overnight, your brain is starting to work on them while you're sleeping. If you're not sleeping, see a sleep person. And you'll wake up in the morning with these brilliant ideas that you will most likely have in the shower, because when you're showering, it gives your brain space, right? Because you're doing something that's very routine or rote. Notice this sometime. Notice it when, like, you're washing the dishes or doing the laundry. Like, I use laundry. I hate doing laundry. Hate doing laundry. I need to do laundry right now, and I keep putting it off. But what I do with laundry is I make it like my mindfulness practice. Okay, enough on that. We're going to go back. So here are the 2 types of personalities in around their stuff. You have people, there's more than this, but this is,
Right.
I'm going to sort of boil it down to the 2 most basic. Everything out and everything in, or nothing out. Take your choice. So everything out is me. Need to see everything out, because if I can't see it, oh my God, I'm never going to get to it or get it done.
Right.
For people like us, everything out, and I don't know if you are or not.
I am the
And
opposite,
by the way, no right or wrong answer here,
Yeah.
folks. Okay. If you're in everything out, don't think everything in are better, because they're not. Okay. There's
Yeah.
we're just different people.
Right.
Everything outers, things we can do to help corral our stuff in the office and still see it, is to put things in clear containers. I'm a huge fan of magazine holders. So if you're like, I just don't want to be filing, get a bunch of magazine holders and just make sure you categorize them in some way. So it might be you have a marketing folder at home. I'm not in my home right now. My home office, I have a bookkeeping magazine holder, and everything that has to be dealt with for the bookkeeper goes in that. All the way down to a box of staples, a stapler, a notepad, a pen, like all the things, the receipts, you name it, is all in one containerized magazine holder. Everything in. So this means, we're not great about filing things into filing cabinets. We kind of struggle with that.
Right.
I've gotten better, but it's really taken me a long time, and I learned systems that work better for my brain to do it. Everything in, folks, may or may not be as organized as you think. They might be just throwing stuff in that drawer and not really setting it up in an organizational way. But for everything in, it's truly what it is. They don't want to see any of it. They want their office supplies in a drawer. They don't want them in a cup on top of the desk. I have a cup on top of the desk. They want everything put away so they can't see it. It just may not be organized. And for the everything in people, what you'll then need to do is sit down and go through things and sort and make them better. And you might do that one drawer at a time. You might then do that one file at a time. When I was setting up my filing system in my file drawers, I had a marketing folder. I'm not lying. It must have been this thick. And in the interest of getting things done, I just didn't organize that file folder yet. I did everything else. I got it in there. I made it, file number 15 or whatever, and I shoved that marketing file in there. And at another time, when it wasn't feeling overwhelming and onerous, I pulled out that marketing file, and I was able to throw out well over half of it, because quite frankly, the information was obsolete. So you really want to have a strategy in place. Somewhere, and by the way, you got to put stuff on your calendar.
Yeah.
Put on your calendar a date. Two thoughts on this. Put on a calendar a date that you're going to organize a specific drawer or whatever it is. I'm going to go through my files today and, say it's Friday at 3 p.m. I'm making it up. If you decide that you're going to get stuff out and you're not sure if you're ready to let it go, we say in Productive Environment Institute, if you're not sure, don't throw it out.
Mhm.
It's better to keep it.
Right.
You can buy that paper banker's box, load it up with those files that you're not sure about,
Mhm.
write the date 3 months from now, 6 months from now, whatever it is, your call. Now take that exact same date and stick it in your calendar. And on that date, June 1st, 2024, I'm going to go and I'm going to open the banker's box and I'm going to see if I've used anything from it. And if I haven't, I can probably let the banker's box go.
Right. Right.
Probably not 100%, but likely. Obviously, there are documents in our lives, and you know this, Carlyn, I mean,
Mhm.
that are, tax documents you need to keep for 7 years, things where
Mhm.
you've purchased a house, unless it's like 5 houses ago, you got to
Right.
keep it.
Right.
Really, if you're in a corporate office, I am begging you, please ask someone in charge, whether that's your boss, whether you have an information management specialist. It could be your accountant, it could be your bookkeeper, it could be your
Right.
tax person. Why am I forgetting? Lawyer, could be
Yeah.
your lawyer. That was the one I was looking for.
Yeah.
Your financial advisor. They all have these answers about how long you keep information. It's really important.
Mhm.
If you're in doubt, don't throw it out.
Oh yeah.
Better to keep it. And like I said, you can always put it in that box
Mhm.
or ask a professional.
Yeah. Yeah. I love all of these things.
That was a lot.
A lot, but I'm just going to go through a couple of points that I love the part about having the clear desk. That is something that I tell my clients a lot. And all of these tips are really great for everybody, not just people with
Yes.
ADHD, but especially when people are dealing with clutter, they feel overwhelmed, just like people with ADHD get overwhelmed, right? So I always tell people, when you're going to declutter, take something out of where it is and put it on a clear space, like a table.
Mm,
Take your clothes out of your closet, lay them on the bed so you can see them, what you're working with. And it's for focus, right? Because if we're in some place where there's like all these things around us, our brain, our minds are just, our eyes are just like,
yeah.
right? And we can't focus and we can't think. And if we're trying to sort through a box of stuff in the garage and there's 50 other boxes, our brain's going, oh, I've got to get to that box over there. Oh, what's in that box over there? And you need to just take it out, take it somewhere where there's no distractions so you can
Yes.
focus and think and you don't feel overwhelmed. So I think that's really, really important. I also love the things that you talked about, like whether you keep your stuff out or in.
And
And
that comes from Sunny Schlesinger, and I forget what the name of the
yeah,
book
yeah.
is, but it was
And I
fabulous.
think
I
it's
want to
really
give
true,
credit,
like, stacking trays with things is
right?
good, color-coded stacking trays, so you feel like I can see it. I know
How
where
did
it
I not talk
is.
about color coding?
I know, it's
I
like,
love
I
color
think color
coding.
coding is great, right?
I
And
color code my calendar even.
yeah, and putting it on your calendar. I had to learn kind of to do that because I would think I'm keeping it all in my brain. And then I would realize, oh, a really long time has gone by and I never got to this, way longer than I thought it was. So if I
Right.
put it on my calendar, I can see, oh, I said I was going to work on that 2 weeks ago and I haven't done it yet, so it really is good to help you keep track of things. And I'm a person who likes things in. You can kind of see the background. This is where I am.
Yeah.
And it's true. You have to go through your stuff. When I've been decluttering my house, and even though I'm a clutter coach, I'm still doing some decluttering myself. I've been doing
Right.
it for a few years, but I would just I opened this box the other day. It was in my closet, and I discovered that it had stuff from 2008 that I like
Oops.
like old bills and receipts and
Right.
papers that I moved in 2008. And I packed it all up and I put it in this box. I'm like, I'll take care of that when I move. And then it went in the back of the
Right.
closet. It sat there for, 15 years or something like that. So that's one of the things that I've been doing is going
Want to
through.
feel better?
Yeah.
I had 13 of those boxes.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
13 in my attic, and we would bring them down. I didn't talk about this,
Yeah.
and this is something Carlyn offers too, not
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah.
Having an accountability buddy,
Yeah.
whether it's a group, you're in a decluttering club or a productivity
Right.
group where
Right.
you're co-working. I literally hire someone who
It makes
comes.
a
I know
huge
how to
difference.
organize. She's there to make sure I do it. And I make sure
Yeah.
I do it because I'm paying her.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and she helps me with the heavy lifting and things like this, but she and I would go up in that attic, and it's a wall, it's a pull down stairs kind of attic, so it's not easy peasy to get
Yeah.
to. And literally we would take 2 or 3 boxes down at a time, and we'd focus in on a box, get that box done. She would literally sort for me. She'd pull stuff out of the box, sort it into categories,
Mhm.
hand me a category, and we would go through. That is how I cleaned out. How many boxes did I say I
You
had?
said
About
13,
15,
13, yeah.
13, 15,
Yeah,
somewhere around,
yeah.
I think
A
13.
lot, yeah.
It was 13. And in just over time, I didn't do it
Yeah.
overnight. The
No,
things
don't
we
do it overnight.
found, we did a bonfire. We had 5 boxes of paper that I had to burn at one time. That was
Yeah,
just one of the times that we
yeah,
went through stuff.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I found the lease for my apartment when I was first out of college.
Oh, yeah. You're like, why did I keep this? There it is.
58.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm about to have my 40th high school reunion and tell you how long ago that was, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it's something that it happens over time. We start to
Yeah.
accumulate things
Yeah,
again.
you put things away and you think, I'll get to this later, and then you forget
Yeah,
it's there. I mean, I thought there was other stuff in that box. And when I opened it, I'm
of
like,
course.
I can't believe that this is what's in this box. And I haven't done anything with it all this time. But I love the accountability buddy. I have people come over and help me. I also have a decluttering membership group. And one of the things that we do is we have 2 calls a month where we do the decluttering together. And it's it's not just like keeping somebody accountable, but it's also like giving you moral support. Like we're all
Yeah.
on Zoom and
Such good energy.
yeah, we all know that we're working on something. And so we get on and we say, this is my project and this is what's challenging. And I may kind of coach them through a little bit. And then we kind of go off, turn our cameras off and work for an hour. And then we come back and we debrief and we kind of process things. And so just knowing that somebody's there, if you get stuck, if you're stressed, you can always hop on and say, I'm having a really hard time with this. And then you've got somebody to process with afterwards, like somebody's like, have some books. And I haven't read these books for 5 years, but I think I might want to read them someday. So then I can coach them and say, okay, so, have your taste changed? Have your interests changed in the last 5 years? Do you really want to read them? Or do you just think you need to because you bought them? Can you get them elsewhere? So
Yes.
if you decide to let them go, and can you buy them elsewhere really, really easily? So you could let them go, and then it's like you still have the chance to get them back. So we go through things like that. I think that's really
And I'll tell you that I had sailing books. So I've let hundreds of books go. I am a huge book person.
yeah.
And I just had to start letting these books go.
Mm-hmm,
And one of the techniques I used for myself was to remember, so our local library has a big book sale each
mm-hmm,
year.
mm-hmm,
So I knew that people who love books are going to that.
right.
So to remember, I'm letting this book go, but somebody else is going to get to enjoy it,
Yes,
right?
that's
Because that's really
exactly
the
right.
beauty of books. I can't wait to give my books away when I'm done with them, which is a huge mindset shift.
Mm-hmm,
But the one book that I don't have anymore was a book on how to sail.
mm,
And it ends up, thankfully, I had kept a notebook that had a lot of the sailing notes in it. So it isn't a total disaster. I went back to sailing.
right.
I thought I would never sail again. So I let all of it
Mhm,
go.
right.
One. In
Yeah,
how many years of
right.
book stuff? I'm 58 years old.
Yeah,
One book.
right. Yeah, we're so
That's
afraid we're
not
going
the
to
end of
lose
the
something.
world.
Yeah. And I think also we forget, as we read our books, we absorb things from the book.
Right.
And at a certain point, I feel like you get enough. Like I'm a big Jane Austen fan, and I had all of Jane Austen's novels, and I reread them. I must have read them 6, 8 times, all of them, right?
Mm,
And after a certain point, I picked it up and I thought, this doesn't appeal to me. I remember every detail of this story. This no longer appeals to me.
wow.
It's in me. It's in my head. I don't need to read it. And I let all of it go.
Mm,
And so if we can just take a pause and look and say, have I absorbed everything that I need to absorb from this book?
right.
And if you have, you can let it go. I mean, I have some family heirloom books, like my mom's grade school books and some things like that I will always keep because they're
Right.
special memories. But novels, that kind of stuff, I now I just read them like, okay, I've got it. I can let it go, and I don't have nearly as, I don't have a lot of books anymore. I used to have a lot of books, but I don't have them anymore.
I'm going to say one more thing about books.
Yeah.
Two more things about books. One is Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
I personally do not like to read a novel or whatever on Kindle because I'm in the getting ready to sleep mode when I'm reading a novel. And
Right.
so it has to be paper because I don't bring technology in my bedroom.
Right.
The second thing to say is I am finding with my ADHD, or maybe it's my age, or maybe it's both, I'm really struggling to read.
Mm.
This is very interesting. There's a book, I think it's by Cal Newport on deep focus. I don't know if that's the exact name of the title. And what's happening is because of our digital age and this quick hit of dopamine, when we can just grab a phone and do whatever, we've lost the ability, deep work. We've lost the ability to do deep work, to really stay with something. And reading is deep work. And it's interesting. I don't remember who said it, and it wasn't Cal Newport, or it might have been, but I don't know that it was for him for sure. That it takes us a good 10 minutes to get into reading a book.
That's true. Yeah.
You know
I
how many
can
times we
feel
can
that.
get distracted in 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I do now. I listen to books on Audible.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a really intensive businessy type book, something where I'm studying maybe the latest trends in ADHD and what I need to know, et cetera, I use Audible. And then what I do is I take notes onto my phone of what I like, what's most important to me. And there are apparently, and I haven't investigated this, so I apologize because I don't have a complete solution on this, but there are apparently apps where you can clip a part of an audio and then transcribe it and it goes right into your notes. When I find out that solution, I'll let you know what it is, but I'm really excited about it because I just learned that yesterday while listening to an audiobook.
Yeah. I really like the idea of writing though. Like while you're listening to something and writing, it's like the two kinds of learning modalities put together kind of really sinks it in there. So you can remember
Absolutely.
things. Yeah. That's
It
good.
doesn't have to be fancy.
No.
Just use the notes section on your phone
Yeah.
or write it in a notebook, but make sure you write it in one notebook. Don't write it on a bunch of sticky notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Was there anything else you'd like to share with our audience before we wrap up here today?
I'm just going to reiterate this importance of co-working. The first thing I found with a lot of my clients was they were not able to get certain things done and they were really frustrated. And I opened up something called Productivity Power Hour, which is literally what it sounds like. We come in, we all say what we're going to work on for the next 50 minutes, 50 minutes. We work on whatever that thing is. Co-work, body doubling, which comes from Judith Kohlberg, the concept of body doubling. And then, and actually it comes right out of the organizing world. And then at the end of 50 minutes, we kind of virtually high five, right? Hey, great job. You got it done.
Yeah.
Sometimes people say something like, I couldn't get to it because a client called. Well, life comes up, things happen. And it's just, if you're really struggling to get something done, find somebody, focus mate. You can do, I think, 3 hours a month for free. You don't have to spend money. Contact a neighbor. You want to declutter your closet. Your neighbor wants to declutter their garage. I know those are two very different things, but maybe say, I'll come help you declutter the garage if you come help me declutter the closet.
Right.
You don't have to spend money. I mean, it's great if you do. Hey, Carlyn and I are here as resources. We'd love for you to join us, but you don't have to. If you're sitting here saying, hey, that's all great, but in my budget, that's not a possibility. Phone a friend.
Yeah. And make sure when you're
non-judgmental friend.
Right. Say that. Make sure it's somebody non-judgmental. Because, especially if you have a lot of clutter, the other thing that people have is shame. People have so much shame. And it's like we all have clutter to one degree or to another. And there's always a reason for it. And it's not because you're lazy, no good, unmotivated, bad person. It's because something happened in your life or your brain has different ways of functioning than other people, or things just piled up and they got to a certain point and it's too much, and you feel overwhelmed. So everybody.
And I'll give you an example, Carlyn, of why it took me so long to let go of books, because books were my friends growing up. Books were my fantasy world. They were my escape. How could I ever let my friends go?
Yeah.
Whoa. Hello, therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't mean that meanly. I mean, that's just what I needed to work through
Right.
to get to the point where
Right.
I realized, oh, that's the story I'm carrying
Hmm.
about all these books.
Right. So there's overwhelm. There's the stories that we attach to our things, and we need
Right.
help letting those go, or processing, or figuring out what is that story, so we can decide what we really want to do. So yeah.
Love it.
So how can people get a hold of you? What's your website? All that kind of stuff.
My website's catherineavery.com. That's with a C. And pretty much on every social media channel, I am Catherine Avery or Catherine J. Avery.
Mhm.
Most of them are just Catherine Avery. Even my YouTube channel has the
Oh,
handle at Catherine Avery. So very easy to find me, tons of information out there. I love to help people with strategies and moving forward. And that's I believe this is my gift to the planet, is to
mhm.
help ADHD folks realize they're not broken
Yeah.
and help them set up systems and structures to really help their brain so that they can, focus one tab at a time. Now,
Yeah.
I have that 50 tabs open at any given
Yeah.
time brain,
Yeah.
focus in on one at
Yeah.
a time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.